All right, so let's get a look, see what we can see here. I'm not looking. Oh, okay. All right, so it has been completely sealed up underneath. I'm not gonna lie, kind of makes you feel a little bit better, but you can see in here over top. I can see in. Let's see what you can see.
I know you gonna dig this. Get funky with me.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Look at those clouds behind me. It is a gloomy day here on Rhode Island. Not really an island. Rhode Island, United States of America. Here I am in Exeter, small little town. And I have a feeling, and I'm not making this up, that I've been here before. And when I was in Massachusetts and New England in 2018, I filmed a few videos for my channel. I just started out, and I'd been around. I know I was in Rhode Island, and a friend of mine back home had told me the story of Mercy Brown. And I don't think this is who we're visiting. I don't think I visited Mercy Brown, but I know she told me about Mercy Brown and other supposed witches' graves, but it could have been in Salem. But as soon as I drove in here, I thought, is this the one I've been to before? Because I did do a witch's grave once before that I never put up. But where that footage is or whom it was, I don't remember. But today, we're visiting Mercy Brown, her grave, and her crypt. Now here's where this is getting weird. Just now, as I went to edit this video, the next 4 minutes, there is no sound. No sound. And maybe once or twice this has happened before. And if I had to do a voiceover, I'd put in background sounds from the cemetery. I'd take it from another part of the video. But I'm not doing that. I don't know what I just pointed at. I can't remember what I was talking about. There's no sound in these clips. It's about to kick back in soon. You'll hear me talking while I'm there. But right now, I'm doing a voiceover far away from Rhode Island. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's pretty bizarre. Straight ahead, though, I know what that is. That's Mercy Brown's crypt. So this sounds very cavernous because I'm not in my studio at home doing this voiceover like I would usually do if I have to do a voiceover, which I do not like having to do. But I'm walking towards her crypt. Let me tell you the story because I know where the sound kicks in, where that'll pick up. But here's roughly what I would have been saying while I was there. There's a man named George T. Brown. George and his wife Mary and their 5 children lived on a small farm right here in Exeter. Many families in those days had high mortality rates. George's family, however, had more than the usual amount. His wife Mary fell ill first. She died of consumption on December 8, 1883 at the age of 36. His eldest daughter, Mary, died 6 months later on June 6, 1884. About 7 years went by, no deaths in the family, but then George's only son, Edwin, contracted the disease. Hoping he might find a cure in Colorado Springs from the mineral waters, he packed up and headed west, with his wife joining him. While he was gone, his sister Mercy, she became sick. On January 18th, 1892, Mercy Lena Brown died. She was only 19 years old. but it was winter and the ground was frozen. So her body was placed inside a crypt near the rest of her family at this cemetery here. Now, this may seem odd to some people, but this happened to a couple of my family members in Canada, outside of Toronto, in smaller cemeteries where they don't have the machines to dig in the frozen ground, the frozen soil, or possibly it's just too cold, even with machines. Family members had to wait until spring thaw to be buried. So it's happened twice in my family. So it's something that happens still. But after Mercy's death, George's neighbors began insisting that he do something. So its superstition suggested that perhaps one of his family members who had died was rising from the grave to consume the life of the living. George didn't buy that. He didn't believe in that sort of thing. But he did have 2 more daughters to think about, and he wanted to set his neighbors' minds at ease. So he arranged for a doctor from Wickford, that's nearby. He was Dr. Metcalf, to accompany a small group of friends and neighbors to the cemetery on the 17th of March. Why'd they go? Well, they went to exhume the corpses of the Brown women. Right there. They went in there to retrieve Mercy. Now, in about a minute, roughly, the sound is going to kick back in where I'm at the crypt talking. So I don't know what I was saying right now while I was filming this part, but I think I was a little hesitant because I could see the cracks above, and I knew that I could probably see in, and that freaked me a little bit out, to be honest. If you see right above that wooden door, I could see that there was probably a way to see inside, and I was not sure what I was going to see inside, and I was probably worried about sounds from animals like I usually am. But I approached it. Now remember, Mercy was inside here. Her mother and her sister were buried elsewhere in the cemetery, but they were there to exhume all 3 corpses. There's nothing much else I can say right now until the sound kicks in. I could just cut it right now, but I'm curious what I'm doing. No, I'm showing you the cars going by. Here comes the sound. So I said there was his wife and one of his daughters, correct? Now they were, for lack of a better word, dug up. They were dug up. And their bodies were in advanced stages of decomposition. They'd been dead almost 10 years. Mercy, however, was in this crypt still. And when they found her, her corpse had moved, wasn't in the exact same position inside the coffin. Now there's little racks apparently on the side. As you can see, there's a doorway, and I heard it was sealed up again. It looks like the doorway is off again. I'm going to find out. But I'm not going to lie. I'm a little creeped out. And I don't get creeped out that easy. But I don't want to open an outdoor crypt. But if that door is off its hinges, I will take a look inside. I'm not going to trespass or anything. Well, I'm not trespassing, but I'm not going to, if I'm not able to open it just regularly, I'm not going to force it open, obviously. I would never do something like that. Her body was still fresh. And when the doctor cut out her heart, it dripped blood. Now, the doctor drained her organs of fluid. Then the men burned her heart on a nearby stone wall. Now, her body hadn't been in here long. I don't know what was going through their minds exactly because, yes, the other bodies were in advanced states of decomposition. She was buried above ground in the winter, and it was still winter when they came to get her. Near freezing, if not below freezing temperatures. Why am I getting... Oh, I am getting a little angry because logically, of course she's going to be preserved better. And preserved. Not just better. Preserved better? Preserved more. Of course she would be. People also said that her liver and her lungs were also burned. I don't know about that. Now, the rest of her remains, without her heart, were given a proper burial later in the spring. Here's where it gets a little weirder, everyone. The ashes from her heart were given to her brother Edwin. He'd returned from Colorado, feeling a bit better, but then he had a relapse. Her ashes were given to her brother, mixed up with something, and he drank them, hoping that would cure him. It didn't. Less than 2 months afterward, Edwin passed away. After the deaths ended, George survived well into the 20th century, and he died at the age of 80. And there's never known what happened to the other two daughters. Mary, Mercy. All right, so let's get a look, see what we can see here. I'm not looking. Oh, okay. All right, so it has been completely sealed up underneath. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes you feel a little bit better, but you can see in here, over top. I can see in. Let's see what you can see. And there you go. So there's some racks on the side. Apparently, I don't know if you can see them. I can see what I'm looking at on my camera. But this is where her above ground casket was, on some like hinges or some racks on the side. Wow. Oh, no, it's hard to tell which is which. But that's, there you go, the left side, the right side. I don't see it. My goodness. So there's that crypt behind me. There's some weird sounds around here, like animals or something in the background. I wasn't expecting to be able to see inside them. So Mercy Brown, 19 years old. They thought she was a vampire. They thought she was a member of the undead. They thought that she was contributing to the death, or to the, well, contributing to the death of her sister. Some strange sounds around here. And I don't mean that in a eerie way. Just like animal sounds coming from that way. Bram Stoker, author of Dracula, about after his death, Bram Stoker's Dracula was out about 5 years after Mercy Brown's death, roughly, I guess. And the character Lucy, they say, was roughly based on Mercy, possibly. After he died, they found newspaper articles about Mercy Brown in his archives, his personal archives. H.P. Lovecraft mentions Mercy Brown's story in one of his stories. And sorry, there's actually people coming over here toward me. And I think it's called the Shunned House. Sorry, I had to interrupt myself. There's people coming over toward me, and I was a little, you can see them over there. And I got distracted while I was telling that story. H.P. Lovecraft. So Mercy's tale is mentioned in the short story. She's buried over here. I think this is probably where these people are going to, so I guess this is quite the tourist attraction. Over here, where she was briefly, and over here is where she is eternally. So Mercy is known as the last American vampire. And she was a 19-year-old girl who died tragically, like other members of her family. And she was stored outdoors in a stone crypt in the winter. That's why she was preserved like that. Why her heart dripped blood still. But her lungs and liver, that's never been known, but for sure her heart was taken out. And again, burnt into ashes that her brother consumed. Here is her grave. We got Mary Olive, daughter of George. So her whole family is here. Okay, George T. Brown, the father. Daughter. Okay, I think this is his wife. I think. And here's Mercy. Let me just, before we take a look at Mercy, let me see if this is Edwin. I don't see Edwin around. Oh, Edwin Brown. Here he is. Wow. And here lies, I'm not sure. So Mercy's other sisters, Jenny and Hattie, I just looked up, they are buried elsewhere in a different cemetery. So I'm going to assume this is possibly Edwin's wife and their child. I'm not sure. Now, here, cannot read this at all. Either side. Here's Mercy. You can see a lot of people come out here. Mercy L., daughter of George and Mary Brown, died. It was 1892, right? It was January, wasn't it? I think I said it was January. Age 19 years. And that is Hortense. That is Edwin's sister, so the brother. And January 17th. Small little rock. There she is, resting hopefully peacefully now. If you come to the cemetery, look, there's the church there, there's a crypt there, and here is Mercy. And if I, at any point, I will edit this video, of course, but if I missed it, I may have called her Mary. I've done that a couple times in my head. Or I've said Mary when referring to Mercy, and I've had to restart. And I apologize, Mercy. Things are really done different back then. Can you believe it? There she is. You are no vampire, Mercy. You are not a vampire. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Rest in peace to the entire Brown family that's here. And mostly rest in peace to Mercy. She did not deserve that after she died. After she passed away. From Chestnut Hill Cemetery, I got it right. It's Chestnut Hill Cemetery. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you all. Once again, rest in peace, Mercy. Peace out.